Yeah, hello guys, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where and when you are listening to my video right now. I still remain my name Ahmed Assis, and today's video we are going to be talking about the candlestick anatomy, and that is simply the formation of candlestick. And first thing I have to firstly talk about is what is Japanese candlestick. The only thing I can talk about that, just as a practical example for us to understand very well, is that we all have our language. You know, when you go to Europe, they have their own language. When you go to Spain, they have their own language. When you go to China, Chinese have their own language, as well as in Nigeria here we have our own language. So, and different tribes, you know. In Yoruba, we have our language, Igbo have their own language, and other tribes like that. Now, before a language can exist, me and you have to understand very well that there must be an alphabet. I believe you understand. So, candlestick, Japanese candlestick is really an alphabet. The language, there is language of the market, which Japanese candlestick has to be an alphabet of the language. Now, that is the definition of a Japanese candlestick. Now, we now have different type of Japanese candlestick. So the number one type we have is we have a bullish Japanese candlestick and we have a bearish Japanese candlestick. Now, when we are talking about the another thing we have to talk about is we have to talk about the body. When we are talking about the anatomy, we'll be talking about the formation. How does it form? How does it form? Before we can even talk about the type, that is bearish and bullish. How does it form? So the Japanese candlestick are usually formed by open, high, low, and close. That 4 points is very, very important. The color of the candlestick does not matter. What matters most is for you to be able to identify where does it open, where is the high, and where is the low, and where is the close of the Japanese candlestick. So we're going to be talking about the body, formation of the body, the small body, the big body, and the shadow. So we're going to be talking about that today. Now let's take this particular candlestick as a case study. This particular candlestick, let's take it as a case study. Now, this candlestick that I want to talk about now, let's check it very well. Now, you can actually see that this candlestick was formed. It actually, this is the starting point. This is the open price of this candlestick. And this candlestick came to this point. It came to this point. This is what we call shadow. It has came to this point, then come back to the opening price and go higher. When it gets to this level, then it moves here. This is the upper shadow. We call this particular place upper shadow, and come back and close here. So this is the opening price, this is the close price, but this particular point is shadow. So this is the upper shadow, this is the lower shadow. Now the top of an upper shadow is what we call high, while the lower point of a lower shadow is what you call low. So this is the type of the Japanese candle that we call bullish Japanese candle. Why? Because it actually open at the bottom. It open at the bottom and close at the top. So that is why we call it a bullish, because it's taking the price to the top. So when we say bullish, it simply means something that is going up. So when the candlestick open at the bottom and close at the top, so it simply means it is bullish. That simply means a bullish Japanese. Remember that the color of the candlestick does not matter. I can actually change this color to anything I like. But the reason why I can call it the bullish Japanese candlestick, it is because it opened here at the bottom and closed at the top. So that is the reason why I'm calling it a bullish Japanese candlestick. Now let me quickly explain what the body and the shadow means in the formation of a Japanese candlestick. Now the body, this body simply means that the price was within this particular place to this particular place, and the shadow is actually telling us that this price has once come lower below the opening price. Let's say, for example, as you can see in this video, let's say this Japanese candlestick opened at 149.877, as you can see, and is going to close at 150.183. But it has once came to this particular point. That means if it is open at 149.877, then it came below that price 149.807 before it actually moved upward and got into this place at 150.253 and later closed at 150.187. What does that mean in a real world? Let me quickly give us an illustration example. It simply means that when we opened the market this morning, we gave the price of this particular market as 150 naira. But due to the fact that there are people that wanted to sell, there are people that carry the same product, came to the same market more than the people that they are ready to buy, more than the buyers, then we have to sell. When there are supply more than demand, then the price has to go lower. So it simply means that this price has gone lower until it reaches a particular point where we have more buyers than the sellers in the market. That means where we have more demand than the supply, then the price started moving up. We open at 150 naira. It started moving up 160, 170 because we have more demand of it. Then 170, 180, 190. Then it actually got to 300 until we're having more supplies again. Then before we now drop the price into 200. That simply means we open the price at 150 and we close at what? 200. But the price has once got to 300 before it later come back to 200. Why the price has immediately the price opened has once got into 100 naira. Then before we move it upward into 300. That is a simple illustration example of it. Now let's quickly take an example of a bearish candle. Example of bearish candle is like this particular candle. Now this candle opened at this particular place. This candle we are seeing here, it's open at this particular place, moving up into this level and move down and close at this particular point. So that simply means that the open is above the close. So when the open is above the close of the candle, then we consider the candle as the bearish candlestick. So remember, bullish candlestick is when the close is above the open. That means that one is taking the price up. So this bearish candle is taking the price downward. That is why it's open here and closed here. It's moving downward. That's why we can call it a bearish candle. Then let me quickly explain what the long body simply means and what the short body simply means. Now the long body simply means that the price was gotten down very well. As you can see, this take the price right from this particular place to this particular place, and we cannot compare it to this because this is small body, and it simply means that time the price was not really it goes down, but it does not actually move down like this. Then the same thing applicable to this. You cannot compare this bullish candle into this because this simply means that the price move up, but it does not really move up like this one. But this one took the price up more than this particular. That means during this session, price was higher more than this session. So that was what the small body and the big bodies mean.